I think I know who's going to win, and my reasoning is quite simple. Soapy Meister added me to their friends list, so I think G6 is going to win just because of that. You know, they have that caster's buff, if you know what I'm saying. But we are going live with the first map. Again, process. For the first map of the Horse Run Monthly. And right away, Logan is already light speed into mid, but is getting bombed on quick by Greg, is not quite able to land that kill, and is going to get picked up by Soapy Meister. Immediately, all of the Chuds just wants to leave. They're getting absolutely mulched in their choke, though, as Raven now goes down, trying to escape that fight. Now it's going to be Math trying to bomb high, is going to land some nice damage, but doesn't find Howard, is not going to be able to get anything really impactful with that, aside from a couple combat picks. But now it's Loaf inside of lower IT, kind of trapped between a rock and a hard place as bot mode tries to come through, does eat a rocket to the dome, and this is not looking too great for the side of the Chuds right now, but they do have the opportunity to kind of recoup on last, set up some kind of desperate defense, because they're sitting on full Uber disad at the moment, as Howard now has 100%. They're just looking to walk into lobby now and go through pretty much whatever door they please. There's nothing that can really stop them from pushing in, but it looks like they're waiting just a little bit longer. They really want to make sure their players are buffed and ready. They're taking the time to prep for this push, and they're going to come through 4. Demo bombing forward is going to get juggled up by that sentry, but it does go down at some point. It is going to be Logan bombing up into heaven, takes down the
Logan.
beam. Oh my goodness, finding Hubert there. Soldier bombing in onto the Buddhist, finding Raven and Math. Soapy Meister, High Five is going to be able to find Greg here. The Slug Mundo is actually putting in work, going to be able to find 2 picks on the tail end of that fight, but I don't think it really matters at the end of the day. There are some stickies on top of the point, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, as Logan is able to find that pick onto Slug Mundo and is going to be able to convert that round for G6, making the scoreline 1-0.
Yeah, really quick opening round from like a G6. They just won the mid. They were just able to bully them out and then continue that aggression, getting the pick onto Hubert there, getting themselves Uber advantage, and they're just able to take that all the way. Now on the next mid, Logan still very quick. Greg is going to try and get aggressive, but Soapy Meister counter bombing, trying to protect his demo just a little bit. Greg going to have to get back all the way over, and Sewer Caps takes a pipe over on the high ground while he's trying to pressure Slug, as now we do have the soldiers from the Chuds going in super deep. Greg trying to get onto Howard, launches him up high in the sky, is not going to be able to connect enough damage to get the kill. Now Loaf disconnected over by the enemy team. Sewer is also going to go down, and the Chuds are going to have to back out of mid once again. Soapy Meister is immediately flying through Overtail Al-Qaeda, and you can see like a G6 are hot on their heels, forcing them out of even second. And the Chuds are just going to have to solidify a last defense. The silver lining here, though, Moses, is that they do have Uber.
Yeah, compared to the last hold they had to do, keeping their beam alive is definitely going to give them a very strong, a very large bet for this fight. You know, they've got a lot of chips to put on the table here, and immediately the force comes out as Math tries to get in and is successful in pushing out that sack. So now G6 kind of needs to push through and maybe go for something of their own. Isn't quite able to send anyone through any doorways, though. They do get stopped, and now G6 is forced to play back by Red Choke. It looks like the Uber is going to come out from the side of the Chuds. Now Slug Mundo bombing forward, getting some damage off in the choke, but not a lot. Not very much to, not enough to really take down anyone, just a sticky or two onto the combo. Now, a lot of players are starting to get isolated as Math jumps forward and finds Soapy Meister. Did trade that out with Loaf, but now with G6 down both soldiers, they're going to have to play all the way back by their choke on mid. They can't really afford to hold this as the Chuds just explode through. Greg going to be kiting towards his IT, needs that health back, so maybe G6 could make something happen with this player down, but their spawners just aren't there in time as Soapy Meister and High Five are coming through that choke now. It looks like they're going to be wanting to push forward, and I don't think the Chuds want to use this Uber here. They want to hold on to it, but G6 they don't care. Oh my
they find
goodness.
2. Oh, they just barrel into the choke. They find 2 almost immediately. Slug and Loaf are both going to go down. Then they're immediately on last as well, trying to take all this ground. But Raven, now with their own Uber, is going to use. They want to clean up as many picks as they possibly can. They do find 2. Caps and Logan are going to go down. Are chasing through lower lobby. Are they going to contest on the second? But the back half, High Five got so much cap time. He is going to force the Chuds back, but there's only 3 people alive on like a G6. Soapy Meister goes in with a play on the point. He had so much cap time, he did find one onto Loaf, but it's not going to be enough. And the Chuds can just think about trying to contest second here. Raven is out. He wants to do it, but no one on his team is there to help him. So they are going to have to go back. There's too much cap time on last. We're just going to have to slow things down. It is going to be even Uber, so they shouldn't have to worry about any aggression from G6 too quickly, but they are in a very sticky situation with that much cap time being on the point.
Yeah, I think if G6 really wanted to, they could force some kind of dry fight or maybe start the fight early and kill that beam just ever so slightly before they get that Uber. But it doesn't look like they want to dry. They're going to take that Uber in and they're going to go for the exchange on last. But immediately, as soon as they see that Hubert wants to pop here, they're just going to run away. And honestly, I can't really blame them. Their Uber had almost started to fade as soon as they got into lobby, but Cap overextending here, trying to peek through 5 is going to get taken down.
Oh, Soapy!
I think trying to go for something, doesn't manage to get anything too crazy there. I think manages to find Hubert, but I mean, is that really necessary, seeing as you've pretty much already lost that fight and now you've lost 2 players for that? Your team can't really do anything off of it. I guess you are building out that Uber, though, to be fair.
Yeah, Soapy guaranteeing his team Uber advantage, and now they're going to be able to push in with that. Howard at 80%, but they're already starting to walk into lobby, get those heals up. Soapy Meister for the respawner is now making sure he gets his final buffs before this push comes in. It's going to be on Logan and Cap. Seems like the call is to go through 3, but Uber has been used. Caps and Logan jumping in super deep. Logan is going to chase, tries to get onto the medic, does find one. Isn't going to win, but demo trade over in heaven does so much damage onto Slug Mundo, but not enough to get the kill. Like the G6 do have a lot of space. Everyone on the Chuds is in spawn, but now they're coming out of it. Raven doing a lot of damage onto Howard, kind of forcing him back. High five going in for the bomb, finds one on the Raven. Canvas soldiers block the point long enough for the respawners. Greg jumping around, finds one on the Cap. Soapy Meister nuking everyone over by the spawn door. It's only
goodness.
Slug Mundo left alive, and the spoon comes out.
Soapy's just not getting shot at.
Connect, and they are just going to make sure that they kill every single person before they capture up the point 2-0 in the favor of Leica G6.
Yeah, Leica G6 are definitely struggled a little bit more to get into that last, but I guess when you can't get the beam right off the bat on the mid like we saw in the first round, that does make it pretty much 10 times harder, especially on a map like Process where everybody knows the map like the back of their hand. You know, these guys could probably close their eyes and navigate this map. But it looks like Soapy Meister are going to try and go deep. Slugmundo going to be able to hit the air pipe. Now getting arrowed, is going to be able to stay in this fight, sustained by his beam. And it looks like G6, they're not playing around. They're not even going to give them the opportunity on the side of the Chuds to get any picks. They're immediately going to peel back to their second. But the Chuds recognizes this, so they're going to try and go for some kind of sewer push, I believe, or at least pressuring through sewer, maybe trying to get a sack for choke, I don't know. Looks like High Five and Greg going to be trading just outside. Math jumping forward and landing on that fence, getting a lot of damage for it as well, forcing G6 to play pretty passive with Logan and Howard both on the floor here. This is a prime time to maybe try and send in some kind of bomb, maybe try and get in through IT, do something. Howard is going to be able to find Raven, though, as Loaf and Math are now playing by IT. It looks like the Chuds are just backing out, waiting for their player to come back before they decide they want to do anything. But it looks like as well, Slugmundo is just absolutely nuking the choke right now, getting so much damage, forcing G6 to stop for a moment and think, hey, is pushing through this choke really that worth it? Or do we want to just chill out and wait for them to try and sack into us?
Yeah, they were trying to pressure there, see if they could maybe catch out the Chuds because they were exiting from sewer, so there's maybe an opportunity. That choke wasn't being locked down, but great job on Slugmundo to lock it down and make sure no one could get in for free there. So G6 just going to have to get back up on that second point, get their defenses locked and loaded. You see the Chuds taking a lot of space over by Al-Qaeda. Greg coming in for the bomb. He is going to commit along with Math. Math is going to be able to jump out the safety, however, so it is only going to be a one-man sack. Soapy Meister going in super deep, trying to get this pick onto his soldier. He has managed to make his way in behind, and now he's going to try and collapse onto the demo. You see bot mode running in through sewer, but the Ubers just come out from the Chuds going aggressively through choke. They lose 3 for it. Their demo, a soldier, and a scout. Now can they keep Hubert alive? The answer to that is no. They're just going to be in desperation mode, see if they can maybe get onto Howard, but no one's in position. They do find Soapy Meister over by the choke, but just one roamer for basically everyone else on your team is not worth it. Logan immediately getting the spawn door trapped out to make sure no one can get those easy forward spawns, and Everyone on the Chuds going to have to wait for the back spawns. Now they have everyone up, but Howard is going to have around about 40%. G6 in a very strong position.
Yeah, having 40% Uber here, they have to make a decision quick, and I think they will decide what they want to do very quickly with this Uber. I don't think we're going to see a lot of stalling and waiting around, but maybe they'll get a little nervous. Maybe they'll underestimate how much ad they actually have, or maybe they'll even overestimate it and go in super aggro. It does look like they have still that 40% just in their back pocket, waiting to push forward. Howard going to be going through 3 with the demo and the scout. The gun has not yet been taken down. It is on the far left side. I don't think people have noticed just yet. They now know that the gun is on the left as Cap almost dies to a high five, and Cap both going to be able to find Greg and Raven. Doesn't look like many other players are able to contest the point right now. There are some stickies on it. Demo does dead. It's going to be Math bombing onto the point, trying to fight Bomo. Does land a rocket onto Logan and jumbles him up in the air, but Soapy Meister are going to be able to find Math and Slugmundo. High five finding Lope at the tail end of that fight as well. And that's the 3rd round for like a G6 here.
Yeah, like a G6 picking up steam. They're going, showing why they've been so dominant in Invite for so long now. Even though they did take a season's break, maybe a couple of seasons break, they are right back at it like they never left, and instantly providing a tough challenge for the Chuds. As Soapy Meister gets aggressive, takes a lot of damage, is going to have to go back and wait for an arrow. Greg also getting aggressive over by the enemy team's IT, but Chuds all penned in here by their own choke. They need to get some ground, but Hubert taking so much damage now. A big high bomb from Math, and Greg trying to jump forward, reclaim that high ground space, and they do find one on the Soapy Meister, so they do have the player advantage. And getting bombed is going to be Hubert jumping, surfing onto that little lip above sewer. Really great stuff there, and with the pick onto high five and the kill onto bot mode, G6 are going to have to give this up. There's only 3 up. It is going to be the combo, Caps, Logan, and Howard. It is going to be enough to maybe try and have some presence on second. It depends if Caps wants to be aggressive here and take the Uber.
Yeah, if they want to take this Uber into the Chuds, they absolutely could, but they are going to get forced out anyway by Math. Soapy Meister does manage to clean it up, but Soapy Meister is going deep through the choke, looking for anyone still stationed on mid. Does find where their entire combo is sitting at. I don't think anyone knows he's behind them, as Soapy Meister bombs forward and gets the force. No, that's High Five actually who bombs forward and gets the force. My apologies, High Five. Did not mean to rob you of your credit there. Jumps forward and gets that force from Hubert there. Is going to be massive for like a G6. It's not crazy ad or anything, but they could turn this into something great if they manage to find a couple picks on mid. It does look like Soapy Meister is going to get taken down, but their health on mid is so bad for the Chuds. It does look like Raven going to be able to find Logan, but Bomo trades them out. Now Math jumping forward again, landing a nice rocket onto Howard, but is not able to find the pick. Does get taken down by High Five. And now G6 just has to wait for their players and get through that choke. What nice movement tech coming from High Five. Holy, I didn't know you could surf off that part of mid.
Yeah, really great stuff from High Five. Also really great stuff from Howard for dodging those rockets, because if he goes down there, the Chuds definitely have a better opportunity at trying to stay in mid. But there is a sniper up over by Rollout. It is Raven trying to go for the shots. Is unfortunately going to get bombed by High Five, just doing that classic soldier through choke, high bomb landing over by Rollout, nuking Raven and sending him back to the respawn room. So it is going to be big Uber advantage for like a G6. They're making their way into lobby, just distributing all of those buffs and heals, making sure they take their time. They can wait for Soapy if they want to respawn and get back up with the crew, and it seems like they're doing that now. He's here, the Uber comes in, they're launching it in through 4. Logan high in the sky once again, but getting it a little bit denied by the sentry gun. Can't go the full distance. They have so much cap time onto the point, but soldiers having to block it, and G6 just taking all this time trying to play the super slow now that they have all this cap time. But the soldiers coming in trying to nuke on the spawn door, and they're doing so much damage. High Five and Soapy Meister's just getting kill after kill after kill. It's only going to be Math and Hubert, the last one's alive. Hubert trying to make a desperate play for the point, not going to work out, and it is 4-0 in the favor of G6. But Chuds need to make something happen here if they want to try and win this map.
Yeah, I think if the Chuds want any hope of winning, they've got to turn things around right now. They've got to lock in. They've got to wake up and start playing, as if this was their own kind of invite grand final. That you're going up against the likes of G6. You've got to sweat. You've got to show that you really, really want to win against them. But as we say that, it does look like G6 starting off pretty strong on this mid is going to be doing a lot of damage. Raven taken out pretty low on the high bomb, double bomb actually coming in from both the soldiers. High five and Sophie not quite able to get anything as Bomo dies as well. Bot mode going down there is going to signal the end of this mid, I feel, for G6 as they slowly start to backpedal out of mid. Cap almost dies inside of sewer, but is able to get out just in the nick of time, just by the skin of his teeth. But it does look like the Chuds want to push out from Al-Qaeda here. They are moving forward onto grass. They're taking a lot of space. That's Greg bombing forward, not quite able to get the force from Howard here, I think, as they were trying to do. And that's going to set up a stalemate situation where the Chuds are now set up on mid, waiting for Greg to come back so they can try and pressure for another sack. But I think G6 also recognizes this. Maybe they want to take something into the Chuds.
Yeah, G6 have been very aggressive. Soapy Meister, especially on these kind of opportunities for counter sacks. Sometimes you see teams, they're on second, they get sacked into, they clean up that soldier, and then they don't do anything of their own. Soapy Meister is not that player. I think almost every single time the Chuds have tried to pressure, maybe send Math or Greg or someone in to, for that sack attempt, Soapy Meister has been right there to instantly counter sack, and that's the way you got to do it. You got to be quick with it, and Soapy Meister has been able to have a really great success, either just getting behind or getting a pick, being a distraction, causing the Chuds to have to look two angles at once, as Soapy Meister over by Al-Qaeda is going to have to be forced out of there as the Chuds rotate over towards sewer. Instead, tried to set up their own sack attempt. Not having too much success with it so far, but they got a few minutes before a round reset, so they've got a couple of attempts before they need to start thinking about either an Uber exchange or just resetting onto mid. Right now, they're over in sewer. Math over on the point, maybe setting up for a bomb through choke if the call is made. If there's someone that he can easily land on low, kind of getting a little bit pressured over on IT as everyone else in the Chuds just sitting in sewer, kind of getting all those heals, tanking them, trying to space through Al-Qaeda's. Now the bombs comes in onto Howard, a lot of damage. That's what he's good. He's good for it. Ice in his veins.
Man, I cannot believe Howard doesn't use there. I would have popped upon seeing two soldiers just flying at me. It does look like G6 is going to pop to the choke, though. Going to be able to force that exchange to happen between them and the Chuds, getting the Ubers out of the equation. Going to be moving in onto mid. They don't want to go for that reset. They want to get picks here as well. It does look like Math is going to be able to find bot mode. Will G6 be able to respond with a pick of their own? It doesn't look like it just yet. A nice air shot comes out from High Five, but G6 is not able to cap mid or even hold on to any ground. They lost bot mode so early into that fight that it kind of just ended before it even started, really. And now we do have Logan trying to spam Al-Qaeda here, and a bomb does come out from I-5. He manages to find Slugmundo. Soapy Meister takes himself down. I'm not sure what the context behind that situation is, but look, Loaf is behind, does manage to get found. Raven now dying, Greg as well. It's just Huber and Math all the way by their IT, just escaping with their lives, or at least attempting to, and doing so successfully as G6 now is able to push in onto mid, gain some ground, and keep control of it, and maybe, just maybe, take even more as they push into second. I do think most of the players on the Chuds got their forward spawns, but they are down a scout, which means a soldier could bomb in relatively easily. Speaking of soldiers bombing, it looks like Math is going to jump over towards Logan and force him away. Soapy trying to go in and get some space for his team, but everyone is so weak. Cap is inside of choke on 16 health, finally gets arrowed here, and it does look like Loaf may die. Yes, he will. Soapy Meister are going to be able to chase him down and find that pick, and now G6 is prepping themselves for some kind of sack attempt into last, I believe, as the Ubers are 100 to 100.
Now they're just going to be able to take so much space. There's no scouts up, so it's kind of free reign for the soldiers. They do force, and both teams are going to use on this last point. Looking maybe just a little bit better right now for the Chuds, but G6 going to be able to try and take some space. High Five over in heaven, and he's going to be trying to get in on to Loaf and Hubert. So much damage. They do find the pick, and G6 are just in. There's so many weak players on the Chuds. They can just fight this out if they want to. They are going to. Map very weak over in lobby bot mode, a little bit disconnected over by 5, might be able to win his one. Raven gets the bleed damage in, but now Caps comes and cleans up all of these weak players. A 5k for Caps in 5 rounds for Like a G6, winning it 5-0. Really great stuff from them. They were basically dominant from the start of the match to the end. And I mean, that's just kind of what you expect from the previous RGL LAN winners, the previous resub LAN winners, and the previous just invite winners. So G6 letting everyone know that sure, they took a season off, but they are here and they are here to win.
Yeah, G6, they may take a season off, but they have a lot of experience just scrimming in general. G6 is very much a scrim team. They only ever play when a LAN is happening. I kind of respect it. This season they're playing, I believe, because the Fireside LAN is happening that they are attending. And there's also the RGL LAN, I think, not during this season. I think during maybe the next season. There will be an RGL LAN this year, though. I forget the dates. I think they announced it somewhere. But G6 is here to play for both of those LANs, I would assume, and they are going to bring their A game to both of them. And it looks like, to me, that they're bringing their A game to this one as well. Absolutely clobbering the Chuds here. But the Chuds are not out of it yet, as they do have that opportunity to redeem themselves down in the lower bracket, where they will face whoever loses the matchup between TA Black and Warpig Esports.
Yeah, that will be a very interesting match to watch, just to see the Froyo Jiminy roster. If nothing else, I think we're all kind of expecting Froyo Jiminy to win that one, because it's some could say a super team of some sorts, but very exciting to see how maybe that goes up against like a G6. But looking at the logs for this one, I mean, Logan. The man is a machine. He just pumps out damage like no one's business. 395 DPM from him, just absolutely insane. If you're not shutting him down, then you're going to have a very, very bad game if you're playing against him. And unfortunately for the Chuds, they were not able to do that. But, it's kind of hard to look anything into a very kind of one-sided game like that, because the stats are just going to be inflated for whoever wins and very much deflated for whoever loses. But it should be said that it was interesting that the Chuds were able to win the last 3 mids, and it seemed like their mids, they kind of figured at least that out a little bit. They're kind of able to bait out the aggression from G6 on the mids and kind of get those few opening picks onto the soldiers. But just after that, G6 were just a bit too much for them to handle, and were able to win it in the transition fights, especially when the Chuds tried to, go for those sack attempts on the 2. Every time they do that, they would lose one player, and usually you're safe losing one player, but G6 would make sure that they did not feel safe losing one player, and were able to just kind of pressure all the doorways, get someone behind, and make plays off of that. So really impressive stuff from them, winning at 5-0.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like you said, it's hard to provide a great analysis, especially when a match is as much of a stomp as that one was. The logs are hyper inflated, but I suppose I guess looking past that for a brief moment, I do want to mention, if you type !merch in Twitch chat, it will take you to the Horse Run monthly merch store, where you can buy shirts, hoodies, hats. I'm pretty sure they have a pair of sweatpants that even has the Horse Run logo just above the thigh, all looking pretty good. Still looking to get myself a Horse Run monthly hat. That thing looks pretty good. I need me more hats to collect. You can use code HorseRun for 10% off of your order. Again, that's !merch in chat to get some awesome Horse Run monthly merch. And of course, big thank you to Gamer Latam for putting on this event for us, and giving us the opportunity to actually host the Horse Run monthly, bringing events not only to North America but to South America as well. Helping out, the Latam community as much as they can. But I think that will be it for now. We are going to head over to a small short break while we prepare the Froyo Jiminy versus whoever wins between TA Black and Warpig Esports.